When we're trying to grow wealth, when should a client actually loop an accountant in? What's the ideal time?
At the beginning, and start with the end in mind, not just taking that next step, because again, where we see clients get hamstrung is not thinking about steps 2, 3, and 4.
So what are your philosophies around property buying and how do you use this with your client?
I've seen a lot of strategies online when it comes to property. Look, all strategies can work, but my personal philosophy is that I prefer to let the market do the hard work and not me. So I personally prefer to buy existing properties and just hold it for a long period of time. And I just know it works.
Talking about creating wealth, generational wealth, what should parents actually be thinking of?
One, when do we want to give money to the kids? The other component is, back to estate planning. And then also things like insurance, that there's a need for it, particularly when you're building wealth. And then as we have wealth, we can then scale it back down.
Go slow to go fast, and we'll get there. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but we'll get there safely, and it won't stunt your growth. It will keep you moving forward. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Finance This Property That. Today, just want to go through a couple of things with you. Topic of the day is why the first property or first investment property is a pretty key and important decision you'll make, and where some people actually get it wrong. So a couple of things what I want to go through is that the first property does set the structure for everything that follows. I want to go through the 3 questions every first purchase needs to answer, and also what to do if purchase 1 wasn't structured correctly. Let's get into it. So what I mean by the first property sets the structure up for every decision that follows means, which lender you choose, how you set the repayments up. Are you going to pay lender's mortgage insurance? Are you going to do renovations? What are you going to do to that property? Because purchase 1 either opens or closes doors on purchase 2 or slows you down before you can get to purchase 2. Most first-time investors don't know this at the time because you're so wrapped up in the transaction rather than jumping on with a broker that actually thinks big picture, that can go, all right, well, property 1, if you want to do this, right, ask the extra questions, aligns the property and the debt structure to be able to work with you rather than slow you down, store you, or stop you completely. A lot of, again, I say this, a lot of banks, a lot of brokers will just do property 1 and just go, yeah, cool. They may be able to get you through to property 2, but once you get to property 2 on investment property 1 and you're owner occupied, your strategy's almost blown out the door, because how do you get to the next one and the next one? That's what, what I'm seeing, what I feel is sometimes the first purchase feels like a goal. You need to start treating your first purchase like the foundation of your portfolio if you are wanting to do that. So the 3 questions every first purchase needs to answer is 1, does this lending structure support my next purchase? 2, am I with the right lender for where I'm going, not just where I am? 3, does my accountant, broker, and buyer's agent know what each other's doing? If the answer to any of those 3 questions is no, the first purchase may feel like progress, but it's actually the ceiling, or it slows you down. You're doing it without purpose. There's no strategy behind it apart from I need to get in now. And I get it. As a first-time buyer trying to get into the market, you're flooded with all these grants. You're flooded with time pressure because you're now competing against every other investor that is trying to compete for the same asset, right? I get it. But a lot of first-time buyers don't have the right team behind them either. Now, I don't do a lot of first-time buying lending, but the first-time buyers that I do deal with want to build property portfolios out. So I will take those clients on board to help build property portfolios out. I've had many. We've just had one of my first clients one of my clients that I did help with their first home. We've manufactured about $400,000 worth of equity just because we bought in the right place. They did a couple of little bits of renovation. We used policy to not lend. Didn't need to lend 80%. We could lend 90% without LMI. May paid a little bit extra rate, but we already had a plan because we knew that if they did a couple of bits of renovations, we would be able to get it revalued in 6 months' time or after the renovation got done, which we did. Went up by 400,000, restructured them out to an 80% loan, released some equity. Now they're going to go buy. They've actually settled on their first investment property because I referred them to Michael from Avid Hawks. He's also been on my podcast. He knew the brief. He knew the strategy. He executed the strategy to perfection, and we executed the finance and got that finance approved in under 24 hours unconditionally. And it was such a smooth process for them, and they're so happy. But we've already set them up for property 3. They already have the plan. They're moving forward with it. They're executing. So then comes the question, like, you know, they're my clients that have a plan. What do you do, or if you're in a position where purchase one wasn't structured correctly or not optimally, what do you do? How do you correct it? This is the most important talking point I guess I want to get across, because I feel there's a lot of people in this position. You've either got an owner occupied and you've purchased your first investment and now you're kind of stuck. This does require, it's not fatal. It's not the end of the world. It can be fixed to a point depending on your situation. However, it does require a full portfolio review before making the next move. It's not just about borrowing capacities, pre-approvals, etc. This is what my portfolio blueprint actually does. We look at the finance side of things, where you're at, how do we optimize the finance, and also look at the property side of things. What are your goals? When do you want to achieve it by? And how are we going to achieve it? 2 strategies working together, and you can see the progress. We don't use spreadsheets, none of that rubbish. It's professional, it's done correctly. So I want to leave you with this last thought, right? The investors I see struggling at 2 properties or not getting the first one right always made the mistake on purchase one. Purchase one, either the owner occupied, or purchase one on the investment. Not because they chose the wrong property, because nobody helped them choose the right structure and the right team behind them to guide them through the process. Thanks for listening. As always, the information on this podcast is very general in nature, doesn't take into consideration your personal circumstances. If you want to end up like a lot of my customers and clients have been, with a clear plan, a good team, and something that you can see tangibly growing, get a hold of me. I'm easy to find at Dion Finance Specialist on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. Links are there to book some time with me. You'll see a lot of my ads going around for rooming house, stuff like that. But it's all around debt structure and strategy. But again, it is just, this information is very general. So we want to make sure it's tailored to you and not the everyday to day punter. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.